Hey, I'm Adam Jusko from ProudMoney.com, and in this video I am going to answer the question, do the credit card companies verify the income information that you provide on the credit card application? But before I do that, I'm going to ask you to please subscribe to this YouTube channel if you have not already, and if you have already, I thank you for doing so. So this is a common question that people have, especially when they are younger and do not have a lot of income, and that is, when I get to that place on the credit card application and it asks me for my income, are they going to check it? Are they going to verify with an employer that I have this income, or are they going to, verify if I have income from other sources? Do I have to provide something to do that? Now, sometimes this just makes people nervous because they are, thinking the credit card company is going to call them, or they're going to, accuse them of something. But sometimes people really are asking this question because they want to know if they can pad the numbers and say that they are making more than they are in order to get a larger credit line. In other words, they want to know if it is okay to lie. Well, actually, they don't even want to know if it's okay to lie. They want to know if they can get away with lying on that application, and if there are any ramifications if they were actually caught. So the answer to whether the credit card company is going to verify your income information is probably not. In most cases, they are going to take your word for how much your income is. They're not going to, contact your employer. They're not going to ask you for tax returns. It's rare that a credit card company is going to do any of that. Now, if you got a credit card and then you called in later on and said you wanted a higher credit line, then they might ask for some income verification. Or if you, asked for a business line and said you had X amount of revenue and that was a very large number, then they might also ask for verification of that. But for the most part, they are not going to do that. And so we then get to the next question. Well, what's going to happen if I do add a little bit more on to that income? Are there any, ramifications for that? It would be pretty easy to lie, pretty easy to get that extra, credit line that you want to have. And here's why that's a bad idea. Number one, it is illegal, and you probably already knew that. This is credit fraud, and in the most extreme cases, you could be prosecuted for credit fraud. You could have fines of up to $1 million and or go to jail for up to 30 years. Now, it's probably very unlikely that that is going to happen unless maybe you are someone that, committed fraud and got these higher credit lines and then ran them all the way up, and then perhaps declared bankruptcy when you no longer could pay for them. So when you get to those extreme cases, that is when they actually do get prosecuted. I know at least once within the last, 7 or 8 years, somebody was prosecuted for doing just what I said. So you really don't want to do something that is illegal. Now, number two, if you think you're going to pull the wool over the eyes of the credit card companies by saying you have a higher income than you do, you might be a little disappointed in the results you get anyway, because that is not the only factor they're going to use in determining whether you are approved and what kind of credit line you get. They're obviously going to look at your credit report and see what other types of credit you have and what those credit lines are. So if you say you have, a fantastic income, but your other credit lines are very measly, well, then they might start to think that you are not telling them the truth. And even if they don't care, whether you're telling them the truth or not, they're still not going to go from, if you have a $1,500 credit line, and that's the highest one you have, they're not suddenly going to give you a $25,000 credit line just because you said you had more income. They are going to sort of go off of what your credit history is. And even if you did get away with it and you got that higher credit line that you wanted, there is the chance that they could ask you for income verification down the road. Now, it's most likely that this would happen if you were having trouble keeping up with your payments on that credit card, in which case they might ask you for income verification and just shut your credit cards down until they got it, which means you would then be in the position of either saying, okay, just shut down my credit cards because you don't want them to know you lied, or you'd have to come up with some sort of documentation, which of course you wouldn't have. So you'd have your credit cards shut down, and you probably would get blacklisted from that credit card company, at least for some period of time, because they would not think that you were being honest with them. And number 3, lying on your credit card application would just be stupid. If you're the type of person that would lie on your credit card application, you're probably not the type of person who is ready to be responsible with that credit line. You are probably going to get yourself into a place where you don't make your payments on time. You're going to run up that debt, and you are going to get yourself in a place where not only could you get in trouble with the credit card company, get in trouble with the law, but then you could also mess up your credit history for a very long time going forward. So it doesn't make any good sense to do this. The banks have a long history of, dealing with customers of different incomes, of different credit histories, and figuring out what credit lines make sense for those different type of customers. I'm sure your situation is unique, but the bank has seen many, 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 many other customers very similar to you, and they know what credit lines generally make sense. So in this case, you should probably leave it to the experts. Tell them what your real income is, and they will decide what makes sense based on what they see in that income and in your credit history. So that's it for this video. Thank you for watching, and as always, please go to proudmoney.com, where we do credit card reviews, have personal finance news, talk deals, and all sorts of other fun stuff too. Thanks for watching. Bye.